Hello, welcome to another new video. Okay then people, Tamiya Falcon bathtub chassis, modified the steering because we know what happens with the Falcon. We get bump steer because how the what are they called? Steering rod. It's how the steering rod's attached to the servo horn. So when your car bumps along, the wheels splay out. So you don't have any control over your camber or toe. So in this modified Falcon, we solved this problem. We do not have any bump steer. So this is like a multi-video modification. I might make it into a series because it's not going to be one modification. It's going to be many. But we're going to build the car. We're going to stick the gearbox on. Basically build it with... because of the steering modification's done. It works. That's done. It's not final, but it will need tweaking, people. That's a whole new video. I'm going to show the steering modification in a complete video where you see everything. But this video is the front end. I mean, I know it's like out of order. I should really do the steering one first. But I want to do the front end and the suspension first. Because that's the main... Well, actually, no, they work in unison. But anyway, I've got to fit the gearbox on because I want to test the car. Got to remember all these parts are original except for the chassis. That's not original. What the gearbox is, so we've got to look after that. We will be modifying the gearbox later. We can get spare gears and stuff like that. I think it's like lunchbox. Is it frog, fox, grasshopper? There's a combination of gears you can get to replace the Falcon ones. That's not an issue. I want to do the steering first, then I'm going to go back to the gearbox, do the drive shafts, do something with the rear end. But anyway, this video concentrates on the front end. You get a glimpse of the steering modification, which is a bit tasty. Took me a while to work it out, but same with the front. The front wasn't difficult, but 3D printed parts, people. We are not going to use original Falcon parts on the front because we are modding, aren't we? We are modding. So anyway, where are we? We are attaching uprights, people. Attaching uprights. These were an issue with the Falcon because the top where the shocker attached had two little wafy bits thin plastic. Mr. Tamiya, why did you make two little wafy thin bits of plastic at the top of the upright? How was that going to last? Was it marketing ploy? Get people to buy parts? So little curve chamfer out of the uprights. This is to accommodate the modified steering. I think I kind of took too much out, but it is a prototype. We are doing other stuff as well, so that is, look, plenty of space there to accommodate the steering. Plenty. So anyway, that bit's done. I didn't bother showing the bit where I chamfered it out. It's just bits of grinding, nothing special. But then wishbones, these are 3D printed. PLA plus, that's plastic. PLA plus plastic. Prototype material. So I have got plans on printing my own parts. I am designing modified wishbones to fit what I want to them. I'll confuse myself then. I'm just using a standard M3 bolt I'm not sure of the length, but it's just a standard M3 bolt with a hex screw. I like to call it a hex screw bolt with a locking nut on the end. So they do fit quite nicely, these 3D printed parts. So measurements are key, people, when you are designing stuff. I know it's very basic saying that, but prototypes is interesting though, aren't they? Prototype parts, models, stuff, anything goes on a prototype. Depends how it goes, really. So I do have visions of printing my own wishbones, which will be modified. I'm gonna try and keep them looking the same, but slight tweaks. There's, you know how the suspension attaches below the wishbone. I want to try and do something with that, which will streamline the model, but I'm not sure how yet. And then plus I've got to, because I'm using Schumacher RC hubs, wheel hubs and yokes. So to attach the yokes to the wishbone, there's got to be slight modification because these are standard sized wishbones. So if you want to do this on your model, just standard size, everything's standard, like standard upright except for the modification at the top, and standard wishbone. So there's nothing different there. The only difference is the Schumacher yoke needs to be slightly ground down or dremeled to fit. So this is part of the modification, you see. Part of the prototyping is to see if the Schumacher stuff works with the shape of the model, the geometry of the model, and the shape and design of the wishbone, because that's completely different to the Schumacher wishbone, you see. So what we've got to try and do is graft on the Schumacher parts to the Tamiya parts. And I think I've got a solution. At the moment, all I've done is reduce the size of the Schumacher yoke so it fits into the wishbone. So it's there. It's part of the prototype. So my first prototype is going to be if the parts work in unison. And then my vision will be to design the lower wishbone so it accepts the, oh, look at that, people, look at that, nice, it's hot, it's a tiny bit of, call it slop, tiny bit of slot there, but that is pretty good. I mean, I'm tugging on that with my bony fingers, that's pretty good, nice fit. So with the yoke, at the moment this is modified. I've taken a little bit off it, centralized it, ground a little bit off, and we're not talking much, and there's no modifications on the hub at all. It's the single bearing standard Schumacher Cougar series hub. So that's standard. So like I said before, I'm going to redesign the wishbone. The first prototype wishbone will be so it fits the Schumacher hub and yoke without modifying the yoke, so it'll be a straight fit. So the wishbone will look the same except for a slight modification on the end where it fits the hub and the yoke, if that makes sense. I want to keep the hub and the yoke standard. Because the wishbone is going to be 3D printed anyway, I'm going to slightly modify the end so it fits the yoke. To streamline the construction, and then once I've done that, I'm going to slightly modify the the wishbone, but it's going to look virtually the same because we don't want to go away from the design of the Falcon. I mean, I could design completely different wishbones and completely different uprights, and what happens? You lose the aesthetics of the original 1986 Falcon. I mean, this year, what would that be? That would be 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 2026. That'd be 40 years, people. If Tamiya released a Falcon, it would be the 40th year anniversary in 2026. That'd be awesome, but can I see it? I'm not sure. They do release anniversary re-re's, but 40 years is like middle, innit? They could have done a 25-year one. They might do a 50-year one, but who's going to want a Falcon in 10 years' time? People want them now. I mean, would people buy a Falcon now? I don't know. I don't know how popular it was back then. And you saw quite a lot. I mean, the Hornet and the Grasshopper, they were popular entry-level cars. But anyway, let's get back to my modification. So this is the crux of the modification there. This is where I've made the Schumacher yoke fit the Falcon wishbone. You can see how I've centered it. I might design it to push it slightly backwards, or I might bring it forwards, but we're only talking a few millimeters, nothing major, because I want my modified Falcon to look like the original 1986 Falcon, with the body and suspension more or less in the same place, which is going to be difficult to do and get the geometry correct to get away from the bump steer. So, I mean, I think the tight shocker mounting and the lack of adjustment to splay it outwards might have an effect on the bump steer, but I think that was mainly, I think 75% of it is caused by the servo and the servo horn and the steering rods. But we'll find out. We'll find out when it is constructed and it is test driven. This is why I've not gone full on redesign the wishbones, redesign everything before we even know if the servo in the chassis and all that might be a waste of time. So normally it's one modification at a time. It's kind of gone to the wind with this one, because we are talking major modifications. But once the front end is done, it's not going to take much more. We are only talking little tweaky modifications. We've done the major. I mean, if we can get these hubs to fit the wishbones, that is a major bit done. I mean, because Mr. Schumacher has given us the hubs and he's given us the yokes, which work perfectly together. We've just got to graft them onto our Falcon, which we have done, which is what we're doing now. But my main thing is I want a standard yoke. I've got some 0 degree yokes which I've got from my vintage collection. I might see if they help with the geometry. If they do, I could buy some Schumacher anodized purple. Oh my goodness, that would look good. See, this is why I want the wishbone to accept a standard fitting yoke, you see. So if we choose to modify the anodized yoke, we can. If we want a double dual bearing hub, we can. See, this is a Schumacher turnbuckle with the I don't know what these are called. What do you call them? But anyway, I don't know. I just don't know what you call them. This is like a ball joint, integral ball joint with a stud. I should really know what I'm buying. But anyway, I have, if you look closely, I have pushed some inserts into the 3D printed uprights. See, this is I'm testing another modification here, people. I'm really pushing this model with major mods all in one go. They do fit quite nicely. I mean, I was thinking about using a thread insert. Yeah, let's call it a thread insert. But these are like brass push in threads. They do work quite nicely in the 3D parts, but they need to be. Well, I don't know if they need to be PLA, but they went in these PLA uprights quite nicely. So this is like standard ball and joint. These are Schumacher as well. The actual rod is Schumacher as well. So now, once I've got this bony fingers, people, they do hold my modelling back. I do struggle with my bony fingers. But anyway, let's get this ball joint on the ball. So this is a short studded ball joint. Here you go. If you've got bony fingers, just make sure you've got some tools. So now we have a adjustable camber. Look at that. Adjustable camber on the Falcon. With a don't forget, this is a standard sized lower wishbone. That is a standard size lower wishbone. And we've got Schumacher yokes and Schumacher hubs. So don't forget what I said about the wishbone. If I can get the standard hub without modifying it to fit, I can use a 0 degree anodized purple one if I want to. But I've got some standard vintage ones, 0 degree hubs. They are slightly different to the hubs, not the hubs, the yokes are selling now. I'm not sure what the degree they are. There might be 1 or 2 or 3. I'm not sure, but the 0 degree ones were made originally. That was the original size. But anyway, I'm digressing from the Falcon. So we've got standard, look at that, standard lower wishbone. I know I keep saying that because that's not been modified at all. It's a replica of the original, but 3D printed. And we've got Schumacher yokes, which gives us our camber adjustment. And I've gone with, for now, big bore Schumacher shock absorbers. I might change these out, I'm not sure. These are standard short Schumacher shockers. White springs, obviously, nice and soft. I think, personally, they are too long. But I could be wrong, because I want the suspension to sit. With the weight of the front end, I want it to droop onto the shocker. I want it mid-shocker. I don't want it to be sticking right up. You need your shock absorbers to move up and down, not just bounce on the full shocker. If that makes sense. But anyway, I'm using very standard stainless steel hex. Let's call them screws. Very long, very useful. It's very easy to get hold of. You just put some measurements into the Amazon and anything pops up. Or you might have a hardware shop where they sell them. And we might be able to find some pins. My idea in the end will be to find some stainless steel smooth pins with a thread on the opposite end to where they are on the Tamiya ones, because we don't, well, I want to be able to adjust the tightness, but the Tamiya ones you can't, they just screw in. I want it on the opposite end so I can adjust that tightness. But anyway, shock absorber, standard, big bore, short. These are short shockers, but I do feel they are too long. But I could be wrong. I mean, we were talking prototype, don't forget, people. What I might do, I'm not sure, I might put some Tamiya ones back in. I don't know. It all depends on the aesthetics of the model and what works best. I mean, it would like yellow shock absorbers. It would like yellow, because then it would look like a Falcon. But if that doesn't happen, I mean, if the model works better with different shockers, then it's going to have to be different. I do have some smaller shock absorbers. I don't know what they're off. They are like mini Tamiya ones. They are yellow and they look exactly the same, but they're just mini. Very good, but I think they're slightly too small. But we're going with Schumacher big bore short shocks at the moment. We're going on that big bore shocks on the back as well. So we've got a full set of the same shock absorbers. I mean, I don't know if you can get yellow ones that are not. I mean, you could get, is it RC10? They do a gold one, don't they? Don't know if that will look a bit strange on my Falcon. Because these look quite fruity, but they're not yellow. But that's it then, really, people. We've covered everything on this first video. We've got the standard 3D printed lower wishbones. We've got the uprights, which are the same size as the original Falcon, but they are just modified at the top to accommodate the shocker. I don't know why Tamiya didn't do that originally. They probably just wanted us to buy more parts. Definitely did that with this chassis. Must have broke one every week. £7.50 new chassis every week. Luckily it wasn't that often. They always used to break when it was cold. Any cold weather, you're outside in the snow with your Falcon, or like 0 degrees or minus, your chassis used to snap when you looked at it. But in summer they used to flex a bit better. Yeah, they did last longer in summer. But that's it then, really, people. That's the video. That is the front end. You've had a glimpse at the steering modification. That will be in the next video, I think. I'm going to test this front end, how it works with the steering. If it's garbage, then that's it. You'll not see any more videos. Oh, then that's it then, people. I think we're going to call it quits on this video. And later.